Welcome back to the forum. We have been talking on tackling Nigeria's multifaceted security challenges, and Associate Professor Mahfouz Adedimeji has been talking on the imperatives of revamping the Nigerian security sector before we went on that break. Professor Adedimeji, would you, in the next 2 minutes, conclude your presentation, then we can take reactions, please. Professor Adedimeji, are you with me? Okay, while we wait for Professor Adedimeji, I would quickly like to ask Associate Professor Simeon Olaiwola of the Nigerian French Language Village and also a security expert. Sir, Nigeria has battled insurgency and other forms of criminal, violent crimes in the last 10 years. Why has this continued unabated? What are the mistakes of past administrations? Hello? Professor Olaiwola.
Hello?
Yes, Prof. Did you hear my question, sir? Yeah, I said in the last 10 years.
Yes, please take the question again.
Yes, I'm taking it again, Prof. In the last 10 years, Nigeria has had to battle with myriads of security challenges, especially the Boko Haram insurgency and lately banditry in some parts of the country. What went wrong? What did past administration not do rightly to have culminated in the myriad of security challenges we're having in the country today?
Well, I think that question is really a question that has a lot of branches. But to be precise, the relapse of insurgency has been a neglect of past administrations in the area of provision for security personnel and the area of taking security issues with all seriousness they require. We've seen a situation whereby
past administrations have neglected how to take care of the security personnel on their own, especially the soldiers, the police, and all that. And the most important aspect of it, they neglected completely, and that is making adequate provision for, modern day equipment to fight these insurgencies. And if we look at a kind of far-reaching causes, who will agree with me that the political undertone of most of these past administrations have really not been encouraging. Most times they were paying lip services into issues that should have been handled with all seriousness, like taking things into the religious realm. And in most cases, we see people who want to take things to the area of tribal sentiment, just to have a kind of unnecessary sympathy from some set of people. And all this put together have really created a lot of problems. So now it's more like the insurgency is becoming part of us. And not only that, you see that even the administrations on their own, they have really not been sincere, because many of them benefited from the rot, purchase of equipment. Many of these administrators will have to go siphon the money to their own personal use and all that. So a lot of funds have been diverted to personal usage. And you can imagine, in this kind of situation, there wouldn't be any progress, because the insurgency we are fighting they are being sponsored. Of course, we all know they are being sponsored by the Western world. And in a lot of cases, it will be difficult to have our own ill-equipped security personnel to face the superior power weapons
being used by these insurgents. So precisely, when you look at the administration of our former president, Goodluck Jonathan, a lot of funds were earmarked to fight insurgency, to purchase equipment, and like we were told, we have been seeing such funds were diverted, were shared. So what do you expect? And this has now made it, a kind of tradition whereby people see funds allocated to fight insurgency as something they will just come together and share. And when you have issues like this, definitely there cannot be progress. So, and that is why insurgency has almost become part of our lives. And I'm afraid if nothing drastic is not done,
and we wouldn't want it to end. Thank you.
And we'll continue to do this.
Hello?
Okay. Hello? Hello, Prof. Hello? Can you hear me now?
Did you hear my submission?
Yes, I did. The last part was a bit crappy. I didn't really get it. Prof, the last part of your submission was a bit crappy. Can you take it out again, sir?
Did you hear? Okay, you mean I should take my submission again?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah. So what I said is that insurgency has really become part of us because past administrations have been paying lip service to how to fight insurgencies. Funds have been earmarked to fight insurgencies, and such funds last seen were shared among those who are supposed to implement them. And you can't fight with the kind of weapons that are full of the past administration of President Goodluck.
During which a lot of money were disbursed in the name of purchase of equipment to help our soldiers to fight insurgency. But such funds were shared among some people. And today, it has almost become part of us and order of the day that once there is any fund disbursed to fight insurgency, you have a lot of people who want to benefit from it to the detriment of fighting this insurgency. So the political undertone is not every matters. And of course, a lot of people are benefiting from the road, like the Western world is known to them, but they are all out to make sure that the country disintegrates. And from our own part, we are not too sincere in the way we fight this insurgency. So unless something drastic is done by way of purchasing superior equipment for our soldiers, motivating them adequately, I'm afraid we'll continue to live with insurgency.
Olaf, I want to ask you again. How would you appraise the effort of the present government in containing the issues of insecurity in the country?
Yeah, if I have to award marks, of course, I will score the present administration. I will give the present administration a pass mark, because from all indications, we've seen the goodwill, motivation in terms of purchase of equipment and mobilizing soldiers here and there to fight this insurgency. The administration has really tried, but one thing that we should not forget is that when we fight insurgency, you are not fighting a conventional army. you are fighting people like guerrilla war fighters. And these are people who can easily, freeze into the population. You don't know them, they don't have uniform, they just come up anytime. That's why it has been very difficult to just eradicate them at once. But in the real sense of it, one will see that there is goodwill, there is determination to make sure that this insurgency ends under this administration. Though there have been frustrations here and there, which of course are some of the far-reaching effects of the neglect that we have suffered for a long time, even before this particular administration. So on the whole, I'll give it to this administration that they have tried, even if their good is not yet enough that we want, because what we want is to see this insurgency no more. And until we don't see them again, well, many people will say they have not done enough, they have not done well. But I think from our perspective, I can score the administration very well that they have really tried. Because if, when this insurgency started, if the way they are fighting it now is the way they were fought, I'm very sure that they wouldn't be able to even exist for more than 2 years. So I think the administration has tried, and they should still keep it up and do more.
Thank you very much, Professor Simeon Olaiwola. I will come back to you, Associate Professor Mahfouz Adedimeji. Are you there with me, sir? Professor Adedimeji?
Yes.
Okay, please. In summary, you are going to sum up your paper, and at the same time, you tell us how can we get out of this mess.
Thank you very much. I think this is a very crucial topic. In summary, I said that there's no doubt about it, that the Nigerian security architecture, the way it is, needs to be revamped. And this intervention will take place at two levels, at the level of quality and at the level of quantity. At the level of quality, I said we have to ensure that we prioritize merit. At the level of recruitment, we must ensure that we give our soldiers adequate training. We must see to their welfare. We must see to the purchase of sophisticated and modern equipment. We must see to recapitalizing the old security architecture in terms of intelligence. Warfare nowadays is done through intelligence gathering. If your enemy has better intelligence than you do, even regardless, you are going to be ambushed, and that is what we are experiencing.
So Boko Haram seems to be having some coordinations with some other foreign non-state actors, and they are ambushing our soldiers. So in terms of quality, a lot has to be done. And I also said that a lot still has to be done at the level of quantity. We need to have more boots on the field. I'll give you an instance that according to the United Nations, there should be a police officer to every 450 citizens. Now imagine a ratio where you have about 371,000 police officers to a population of over 200 million people. So the number does not just add up. The number is not adequate. The same thing is applicable to the number of our soldiers. The United Nations and the United States is less than 400 million, yet it has about 1.2 million military personnel. Nigeria is over 200 million. That means if you want to have half of what the United Nations military has, you must have at least 600,000 military personnel. Now we have about 170,000. Not to talk of those who are not even active on the battlefield. So at the level of quality, a lot has to be done. At the level of quantity, we have to recruit more people to join the armed forces so as to be able to confront our challenges. And in investing in quality, I especially emphasize on human intelligence. And you cannot gather intelligence without being intelligent. So we have to pay a lot of attention into the recruitment process. Who are those that we put into the army? Who are those that we recruit into the police? Are we sure that people who are thugs are not finding their ways into the police force? what do we know about the backgrounds of these people that are killing people indiscriminately just because they have police uniform on their neck? So that is the essence of what I'm saying. And I came up, I came with this particular model that I call trendy. I call it, in terms of increasing the capacity of our armed forces. That we have to emphasize training, we have to focus a lot on recruitment, we have to ensure that we provide necessary equipment, we have to ensure that the number is adequate. Then we have to focus on discipline. There's a lot of discipline in the police force. There's a lot of discipline. People collecting bribe, people killing people extrajudicially. We have instances of people now going on a wall. Nigerian soldiers leaving their centers of operation without telling anybody. So, and then we need to focus a lot of attention on intelligence. By the time we do all that, you have more boots on the ground, and you have more quality in the number of boots. We'll be able to overcome. Not forgetting the fact that what is called security is all-encompassing. Human security, I like the human security model, where security is not just about fighting, counter-attacking, but security has to do with providing food security, providing sustainable income, economic security, providing a good society in which people can live, social security, providing a stable political order, political security, and providing people with what will make them to be able to function as normal human beings, cultural security, not a situation in which our cultural values are becoming increasingly eroded by the forces of globalization. So I think these are the issues that I want to re-emphasize in my paper. So we have to return to our roots. We have to ensure our cultural security. We have to maintain the fact that our Nigerian values, our traditional values are not eroded by what people see in Western movies, by what people see in games, by what people see in music videos. All these things are eroding our traditional values to the extent that people do not care about morality any longer. All what they care about is how to make money. And the singers, the musicians all glamorize money, and people do not want to care whatever extent they want to go to, as long as they are going to they are going to make money. So when we focus on human security, we realize that national security or physical security is just a component. What makes human security is all encompassing. It takes about 10 or 12 variables for us to be secure as humanity in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Professor Adedimeji, for that submission. And finally, Professor Simeon Olaiwola, I want to ask you a question. How can Nigerians begin to appreciate the members of the armed forces of the country?
I want to start by saying many thanks to Professor Adedimeji, which somebody I've heard a lot about. I've read a lot of beautiful English lessons, and I'm very proud that he's doing great work in my alma mater there, the University of Ilorin. It of course is better by far. So many thanks, Prof. Prof has really said a lot of things, and I wouldn't want to go back to those things that he has said. You know, he said that there are about 10 or 12 variables. You know, if we want to have an appreciable security, you have to think about cultural security, social security, economic security, food security, and all that. So he has really said everything. And sincerely, I would love to have an insight into that beautiful paper. It's a pity I was hooked in our laboratory from morning till evening, so I wasn't able to develop any major point on this issue. But from what Professor Adedimeji has said, to appreciate our security personnel, it has to really come from within, because security issue is more spiritual than physical. You can't tell a hungry man to go and secure your compound. It's not going to do anything. You can't tell somebody who does not have dignity of labor to secure the environment, not to even talk of securing the whole country. So definitely those variables he mentioned are what we need. Because when I earn a salary that I know can take care of me, can take care of my family, then why do I need to take bribe? Why do I need to look left and right? I'll go straight to my job and I will discharge my duty as it is expected of me. But when I'm very sure that my salary cannot even take me 1 week, definitely I have to start thinking of how to corners. And that is where you see a lot of security men, they take bribe. Like where I stay, you have a lot of soldiers who are always crossing the semi border to go and bring in rice when they are supposed to be on at their security post doing one thing or the other to secure the environment. But many times you see that they have to make ends meet. So when there is no dignity of labor, there cannot be adequate security in the country. So I subscribe to the variables he has mentioned. Let there be, social security, economic security, job security in itself, and let there be adequate remuneration for what security our security operatives do. You don't expect somebody is having a master's degree. You expect that person to be collecting the salary that is not dignified. And when people are being degraded, consciously or unconsciously, you won't get the best from them. So I think the government has to take it in there should be a kind of holistic approach whereby everybody will be treated like a citizen. And when people are treated like citizens, I'm very sure that the nation will be secured at all corners. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof.
It's a pleasure.
I don't know if you can hear me.
So over to you.
Hello?
Hello, Lawrence, are you there?
Prof, can you hear me? Oh my God. Okay, we'll just take a quick break.
Hello,
and when we come back, the program will conclude.
Lawrence?
The question of leadership is a factor in this regard to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale. Of leadership is a factor in this regard to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale. Of leadership is a factor in this regard to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale.
This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria. Okay, welcome back from that break. I sincerely want to thank Professor Simeon Olaiwola and Associate Professor Bafus Adedimeji for standing by and doing justice to the topic. I must also thank Andrew Franklin, who joined in from Nairobi, Kenya. I understand network has been a problem for him, so his contributions would come later. Finally, Professor Olaiwola, what is your statement? Prof, did you hear me? Hello, Prof, can you hear me? Prof is not there. Hello, Professor Adedimeji.
Yeah, maybe we should be signing out.
Yes, I can hear. Prof, can you hear me now?
Yes, I want to think so too.
Okay, please, your final words, sir.
The anchor person is not here. All right, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, Prof. So have a wonderful evening, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. My regards to the family.
You're always welcome. Thank you. Regards to yours too, Prof. Thank you, sir. Good night. Yes.
Okay, on that note, this is where we draw the curtain on the forum, the online town hall meeting. We were joined in by Daniel Funad from Nairobi, Kenya. We had Andrew Franklin, also from Nairobi. Professor Simeon Olaiwola and Professor Adedimeji Mafuz also joined in with those very exciting contributions. Until we come your way again with another exciting edition of the Town Hall meeting, please stay with our social media handles, and if you have any questions, contributions, or commentary, please feel free to drop them on our social media handles. My name is Lawrence Aldu. Bye for now.